Photography didn't kill painting, it birthed impressionism, and AI won't kill filmmaking, it'll birth something new. But great films need more than great tools. They need artists with something to say. This moment is much bigger than Sora and what it can do. Today, let's explore how we got here, where we're going, and most importantly, how you can be, and why we need you to be, part of shaping what's next. I'm Al, let's talk about This Week in AI. OpenAI's Sora launch definitely made some noise last week, finally delivering on their February teaser that had people speculating all year. And while signups are open now, they've been toggling them on and off because of demand. The bigger story is how we got here, where we're going. As a disclaimer, this isn't an exhaustive history. Jürgen Schmidhuber probably invented all of this in the 90s or before that. But I'll start with a spark that happened in 2021 and try and make this quick. OpenAI's DALL-E showed us that AI can make compelling images from text. They didn't open source it, thanks OpenAI, but they did open source part of it, Clip. Clip connected text and images, and it learned that by looking at a bunch of images and their text descriptions all from the internet. Then the open source community, pushed by a few super motivated individuals, started experimenting with VQGAN and Clip, which as you can tell was really just the start, and was followed by something called Disco Diffusion. People loved that they could turn some of their ideas into visuals with just some words, even if they weren't perfect. Platforms like Google Colab and Discord helped to bring artists, researchers, and tinkerers together to push boundaries. Then in 2022, Stable Diffusion changed everything. Stability AI, a hot new startup with a colorful CEO, launched Stable Diffusion. It was accessible in their Discord, where tens of thousands of people were generating millions of images a day. And the image quality really started getting better. They had a few different releases, and some of them were a little wonky, like when Runway leaked Stable Diffusion 1.5 and Stability asked them to take it down, but then changed their mind. This kicked off a wave of creation and controversy. There were some big debates about using images from artists from the internet, and that these models enabled people to make deepfakes even easier. And it put Stability AI right in the middle of it. These discussions and court cases have yet to be resolved. Meanwhile, some private companies like Midjourney exploded, proving it was commercially viable to productize the open source models by making them a little bit better and easier to use. They would hit $250 million of revenue with just 40 employees in the next year. But quickly, the community started demanding more tools for control. And artist control is a big idea that is important today and forever. Early tools like ControlNet helped guide structure of these image generations, and others like IP adapters helped influence the style. Platforms like Civet AI and Hugging Face hosted custom models of people, styles, objects, and a lot of them were pretty explicit, but we'll leave that alone for now. Then towards the end of 2022 is where this connects to video. People started realizing that you could make AI video by having an image morph from one thing to another. And that's when people like me and my team at Nouns AI created some of the first dedicated AI video interfaces ever. They definitely weren't perfect, but it was a new way to take your imagination and bring it to life. 2023 saw a big step from images to motion. Runway released their first Gen 1 model. It was closed source, but it was one of the first usable video models ever. You can make new videos or reskin old ones that you already had. Then Animate Diff emerged as one of the first major open source video breakthroughs by stabilizing that morphing process. People like Kasinkadink, Matteo Spinelli, the Banadoko community led by Palm, and others started rapidly pushing boundaries, especially once these got integrated into the new open source tool Comfy UI. Then Stability released a new model, Stable Diffusion XL. The quality took a big step, and you could get great output with simple prompts. But criticism was mounting. The open source dataset they used to train on had some dark secrets, and venture capital pressure to monetize was growing as well. Then into 2024 became really about AI video. At the beginning, OpenAI teased their closed source model, Sora, for the first time in February. But my team at Salt AI, formerly Play Labs, hosted the first ever Comfy UI Leadership Conference, where the creator, Comfy Anonymous, and developers from all over the world flew into Los Angeles, and a group in Shenzhen joined virtually, heard people like Jay Boogs and Phil and others talk about how they created amazing content for themselves, major movies, advertisers, and even Coachella sets.
Gotta just go for it. Don't think
Hell yeah. Oh, come on, pan out. Fuck yeah.
This was amazing. But the CEO of Stability AI stepped down around the same time, and a lot of members left the team. This left a void that was filled. Black Forest Labs stepped in with the release of the best open source model to date, Flux 1. You had more control with in-painting and out-painting to make small changes or turn images into big ones. And like I said, these better image models led to better video models. Black Forest Labs even collaborated with XAI to create some of the best new models that have ever come out, in terms of realism, adherence to prompts, and beauty. Runway kept pushing, releasing new video models themselves, but they got some new competitors with Luma Labs, Pika, Korea, but also some new Chinese competitors like Hailuo and Kling. Tencent also stepped into the open source game with Hanwon, which is the open source model that's really stealing the scene today, and in some cases is actually better than OpenAI's Sora and free. And that's just video. I didn't touch on audio, sound effects,
Introducing Play
voices,
Dialogue, the voice model built for conversation.
generating whole worlds, 3D objects, or character
I'd love to
animation,
begin with-
which are all possibilities too. But those are stories for another time. So my take. The A24 team behind Everything Everywhere All at Once showed exactly what's possible when you use great tools with actual vision. Their budget was 20 times smaller than Avatar 2, but using AI to help edit, they got some effects that were almost as good. With that said, they didn't beat Avatar for Best Picture just because they had the best editing, though they won that too. They won because they had the best director, screenplay, actress, supporting actor, and actresses. AI just amplified their creative vision. I admire Spencer Sterling, an artist turned AI researcher, who despite being self-taught, created one of the first video models ever. But he didn't stop there. Now he's combining AI-generated visuals with lasers, all synced to music for awesome in-person experiences. Why? Because he thinks it's cool and he's passionate about it. Meanwhile, in China, creators are totally rethinking video storytelling. They're making full dramas for anywhere from $15,000 to $100,000 instead of $1 million budgets, but are out earning traditional movies. Personally, I prefer some longer, a little bit more useful content, but I don't think studios just using AI to cut costs are going to be around very long. But I am optimistic that we'll see indie films and studios explode. Suddenly, you don't need a massive budget to tell your story. You've got a whole spectrum from free open source tools to premium platforms that's democratizing visual effects, editing, and animation in the same way that we saw with handheld cameras and YouTube as a free platform. This could lead to completely new art forms and things that we've never even thought about before. But we need artists with an actual vision to make something worth watching. I agree with David Deutsch, who laid out his principle for optimism. All evils are caused by insufficient knowledge. So, what can you do today? Well, if you already have the Adobe Creative Suite, they're starting to roll out new tools to Adobe Premiere Pro, so you can keep an eye out for those and use them when they... Runway has been crushing it with some new features like expanding video to help you change aspect ratios easily, and their new video keyframing prototype that lets you explore possibilities on a visual canvas. Luma Labs, Korea AI, and Hailuo all have their own strengths for different types of content, and Kling AI has a really sweet motion brush that gives you control over how things move. That's definitely worth trying out. If you want to try by attempt instead of getting a subscription, Hugging Face, Replicate, and Toast, which is a non-profit, I'll host Hunyun, probably the best open source model out, and a lot of other tools that you can start running without needing a powerful computer. It's great for experimenting and occasional use. Now, if you have a decent NVIDIA GPU or a MacBook with an M1 Plus chip, you can run these models yourself and not pay anybody. This is a great option if you're in Europe, for example, and can't get access to some of these models. You've got Pinocchio, a one-click installer for a lot of these tools that helps you run these on your own computer, and it's really a labor of love. And if you're really ready to jump in the deep end, download Comfy UI. They have a new desktop app, and its Node interface has made it more approachable than ever, though still a little tough. If you're gonna do that, join Bannerdaco's Discord. Palm still shares updates twice a week, and people are great at answering questions. It really is an awesome place. Don't let the technical stuff scare you, it's getting easier every day. Start with what matches your budget and comfort level, and work up from there. So, a final note. Silicon Valley built a lot of these tools, but artists are going to define what they become. From A24 level productions to indie creators, the barriers keep dropping. Every week brings new options, some free, some paid, and all getting easier to use. But vision can't be generated. Neither can taste or soul or the drive to say something. The next cultural shifts will come from people who bring both technical understanding and artistic instinct to the table. Keep exploring, support artists, and make something worth watching. I'm Al with Alex AI. It's December 14th, 2024, and that's how I see it.